You could argue that Eddie Bravo was one of the first people who actually systematized.
Is that like a family secret?
Yeah, it's definitely. Start with the game where we have our body control.
I have upper body control and guard, which usually consists of underhook or cross face. When I cross face somebody, I definitely want to make sure. So sorry, I have a half guard. So yeah, right. And basically, what I want to do is I want to keep my upper body stable, so I'm pinning his shoulder line to the mat, making him turn his head as much as I can, keeping my balance on top, and then what I'm trying to do is to release my leg. So while I'm trying to do that, I'm keeping good fundamentals up top, so I'm pinning his shoulder line, and then figuring out a way to, because he wants to hold on to my leg, and I'm looking to find some way to free my leg and get past to side control. If I free my leg, then we'll restart the game, and we'll go. Obviously, he's not going to make this easy, so he might try to sweep me, he might try and get close guard me, he'll get both his legs around me. If this happens, we'll restart, and we'll flip flop. Any questions? Just warming up.
Alright, let's do one, two. Because there's 3 people, we can do 2 in 1.
You want to swap every time someone does it?
Yeah, that works too. Yeah, so it's like you're on top, you're on bottom. Okay, he's got another person.
So start in half guard with shoulders pinned, underhook, cross face, and then with the goal of releasing your leg. And then if bottom person sweeps or like gets into close guard, then switch. Or if you get out and get your leg out, switch.
we're gonna back it up. So now we have half guard, and we're past the knee shield, but we don't have any upper body control. So what I want you guys to think about is, I want you guys to get to the starting point where we were before. So I want to get some form of upper body control, whether it's most likely going to be underhook crossface in order to start pinning the shoulder line. Of course, he's going to be framing, so he's going to be doing a lot of framing. We can have some ways to think about this. Frames are meant to carry weight, so if I'm just like going into his frames, it's not going to be good for me. He's going to just carry more of my weight. He's going to eventually be able to sweep me. So when I see like strong structures like these, I'm thinking more about redirecting the force. So if his frames are able to carry my force like this way, I'm sort of thinking about taking my weight off them for a quick second, redirecting the frame, and then putting my weight back on in order to sort of defeat the frame. And you can do this in like any various ways. Like if I'm here, I can also go the other way where I bring it up, and then like shoot an underhook. I can do that. I can also change the part of my body that I'm leading with. So instead of leading with my chest, I can lead with my head, and then kind of I can swim on over the frame. I can swim like under the frame and start pushing it up. And then you can always just do like grip fighting as well. Like I can grab his wrists, pin them to his body, so it opens up the space here, and I can start going for cross faces. We started with this like pinning of the shoulder line to the mat, because with half guard passing, this is very important. If I have Bernard's shoulders on the mat, it means his feet have a limited range. It's like it can only like follow me so far here. So if I have his shoulders pinned to the mat, then I can start like moving his legs in a different direction, and it's harder for him to recover while I bring my legs in. Whereas if I didn't have his shoulders pinned to the mat, he could really just follow me. Maybe even start getting up, which is not good for me. So the main goal is pinning the shoulders to the mat. We'll start in this position this time, past the knee shield, and your partner will have frames. So I want you guys to get inside, pin the shoulders to the mat, and then again, free your leg. If at any point Bernard is able to sweep me or get close guard, flip-flop. Questions? All right, I'll do it too.
two are doing a pretty good job of this, which is like threatening chest-to-chest pressure. Because if I don't threaten with pressure, then there's no reason for my partner to frame. So I definitely want to like threaten pressure, and then that's going to make them frame, and then now I can play this game of like having them eat my weight or taking it off and getting rid of the frames. You can also think about like when I get an underhook, where my head is going to be. So like I saw Bernard fighting this hand, or I didn't see you fighting, but go ahead and fight his hand. He was fighting his hand, and I had a near side underhook right here. I want to think about like my head position being
Like blocking on his shoulder line here. When I'm here, like I'm less concerned about this hand. Like I'm still pinning his shoulder line using
kind of an underhook head block. So it's like he still can't really turn his shoulders.
So I'm really not concerned about this hand. I can just start tripoding up now and freeing my knee, and then I can just
Head in his mouth or 3/4 mouth or whatever. So just think like you can use a bunch of various grips. Even to some extent, like if I don't have my head in play, I could still get underhook. I could even just like take a hand on the entire shoulder line, flatten them out on that, and then quickly switch to something like a cross face. Like, also, with my cross faces, like we say cross face because it's like an elbow pin against the face here, but I definitely want to make it an effective cross face. Like to me, I've been showing it like this because it's nicer to not have to fuck up your partner's face, but like this is actually not that effective of a cross face. What I really want is kind of like this deep grip, and then I want to like utilize my shoulder to turn his face this way. Because I turn his face this way, his legs are going to want to face this direction too. And so then once I get his face to turn this way, maybe I start moving my legs the other way, and then this alignment is just really hard to deal with. It's all about like making their upper body turn this way, making their lower body turn this way, and now they can't really generate any power, and it's also easier to get past the legs. So thinking about different ways to pin the shoulder line, cross faces, and then exerting pressure forwards with half a frame on and cause a reaction. We'll play this game one more time, and then we can move on to back stuff. New partners. Yeah, right at back on 2 and 2. Oh. Balanced.
this, and then I have here, it's a good grip. You have that grip right here. You know, slide this arm, so you move my arm up. Put your hand on that side of the arm. Like a shove from here. Trap it in. Yeah, you can choke it or you can just get out. But this is, you have one arm busy, you have to string it out.
Start lifting your hips. Tripod. Yeah. Now you can slip that knee line up. Go straight to 3/4 now. Yeah, to the right. Yeah.
This,
Yeah.
put weight on it.
Yeah, put weight on that.
Keep your hand here.
And then use your left hook to push out. There you go. Yeah. Nice. Alright, looking good, guys. One thing I will say, don't be afraid. I think part of it is like just weight distribution on top as well. Like sometimes when I'm hitting the shoulder line, I don't want my elbows too tight. Like sometimes if I'm pinning someone, I'll think about like opening it up just so I have like a little bit of base on the side. If it feels like this and he decides to just bridge me, I'm going over. Whereas like if I'm just thinking like how can I remain stable up top? Like my priority is remaining up top, so now he can't really knock me over. It might be a little less tight feeling, but like I can sort of just adjust these things as I go to make sure I don't get stuck. Same thing with the feet. Like I don't want too narrow of a base. So when I'm in someone's half, sometimes I'll kind of like bring one knee up if I can. This knee is next to the hip, and then it's like varying degrees of like being out or in. And I just like want to remain stable on top while being around my partner. We'll move on to, so that was just warm up, a little bit of half guard. We'll move on to the back, which is what we've been working on for the past couple of weeks. So we'll play this game where I have Bernard's back. And I start with the seatbelt. Remember, good seatbelt mechanics. So I would recommend that this choking arm, which is like goes over the shoulder, I cover with my, I would call it the control arm, which is usually the underhook. And then on the underhook side, I will also have my head. So it's kind of like, again, we're keeping the shoulder line control. And this way, like you can, they shouldn't be able to rotate that much. My goal in this game is to do as many rounds of switching my seatbelt from side to side. So, meaning this whole time Bernard's going to be trying to escape. I want to make sure that I can maintain the back here. And then what I'm looking for is to get as many switches on this seatbelt as I can. I don't recommend you just like let go of the seatbelt and go to the other side. I would recommend taking your choking arm and turning it into a control arm so you have double underhooks so that he still can't rotate. And then when I go overhook, I switch my head like this. Obviously, like we're not gonna be doing this just sitting up like this. We'll probably be on one side or the other. And then Bernard's going to be looking to get his back to the mat, also his hips to the mat as well. I want to be able to maintain the back position. If you don't know any back escapes just yet, just experiment with it. Like the point of a back escape is to free your hips and free your shoulders. So you see Bernard's getting his hips to the mat, and then he's going to get his shoulder length from that as well. Because essentially when I take somebody back, it's just my chest is aligned with their upper back, and my hips are aligned with their hips. So if those two things can be disrupted, that's basically a back escape. We can go over some specific escapes later. But maintenance is really important. So basically you're doing as many switches as you can with good head position, and then if your partner gets out, then flip flop.
a do this. You're gonna clamp to yeah, you're gonna clamp that. I don't know if that's gonna help you though. Yeah, for you. Let's get this arm out. Get it out. Try to bring me to the other side.
Lift your left knee. Lift your, plant your left leg. Sorry. Yeah, and then down. Bring it over.
Okay, go. Like you're stuck.
Nice. And then down. Put your top foot back. Yeah.
You want to get 200 to move out the way. 200 is a great control. Thank you.
Alright, we'll do just a quick review of escapes and then we'll play the game again. So we'll give you guys more ideas or review on escaping. So we're here in this seatbelt. Generally you want to fall to one side or the other to start initiating escapes. If I'm on the underhook side, we'll first talk about, let's first talk about like the bottom. So we want to escape the hips, right? And so generally that means I want to get out of the bottom hook. So you can, if you're like, you can basically like still move your hips basically if they have their hooks in, and I can either start pointing my belly button upwards to make it just like to make the angle harder for him to clamp onto this hook, or I can take my other foot and sort of just like use it as a pair of hands to get my hip over the hook and to free my lower body. Once my lower body is free, then I just need to start working on the upper body. For the underhook side, the idea was to get that shoulder line to the mat. So how do we get the shoulder line to the mat? I start making my head to the ground. And when I get the head to the ground, you'll see that this far shoulder right here starts slipping a little bit. And then it's just kind of like I'm moving my body through a hole too. I don't do these two things separately, I kind of do them at the same time. So I'm like thinking about freeing my hip, and then at the same time I bring my head to the mat. When I free a bottom hook, I also like to catch the top hook. And the reason for this is because as I scoot out and I start breaking the grips, this is now a scramble. Who's going to get up on top first? So if Bernard gets up on top, it's a good thing I caught his foot and now I'm with guard. Because if I didn't catch that foot, he might just end up in the ground, and I don't want that. So making sure to catch that foot is important, even if the game ends when you get your back. Now on the overhook side, it's pretty much the same thing. It's a little different up top here. Because now if I try to get my head to the mat, I can't. There's an elbow here. I can't get it there. Down here it's pretty much the same. I'm still thinking about pointing my belly button up, because now the bottom hook's hard to get. I can also use my feet, but it's to free my lower half of my body. For the upper body here, like what I can do is take my grips and basically bring their arms over my head, and that basically frees me. An easier version, if like they're holding on super tight, again is this elbow, this far elbow right here. This is what's prevented me from basically getting out of the hole, and also he's preventing me from turning into him, which is a viable escape as well. So what I want to do is, I want to try and open this and then just slip the elbow. This can still be here. If I can slip the elbow, then all good. I can turn into him and start getting up. So even if he's really tight here, I like to come around and grab his elbow, or maybe even push, just to get a little more space. Slip the elbow, and then once I slip the elbow, it's like he's lost the back. So those are like the two most basic mistakes. There's another one where like if you can't get the lower hook off, you can get the upper hook off. And they usually go to this basket weave position where they're pinching your hips. This is fine. Like, it's another just slight angle change for you to turn this into a better position for yourself. You take your hand and you push on this knee, and what that does is it frees your hip. And then basically what you can do is you can start getting up, and then figuring out how to slip an arm in, so you basically end up on top. But the concept remains the same for everything that I just talked about. You're, to some degree, misaligning hip to hip, right? So whether it's bottom hook, I misalign the hip. Now it's harder for him. So my hip's facing upward and his hip is facing this way. So that's a misalignment. Or if I can't get this bottom hook, but I can get the top one, now it's like our hips are facing the opposite way. And then same thing for alignment up top. I'm getting my back to the back, so his chest is no longer at the top of my back. And then if I turn to face him, then it's completely backwards as well. So if you just try to remember those two things, and I feel like you'll find new ways to escape from that. We'll play this game again, the retention drill. This time, hopefully it'll be harder to hold them because people will be better at escaping. So we're just starting here, getting as many switches as we can while maintaining just the back and also. All right, 1, 2, 1, 2.
So hard to get rid of.
Nice. Got that top of it. Very nice.
So what do you think you should do for an interview? Just kind of switch the grips. That's okay.
Yeah. So I think like if you want to switch your grips, you have to bring the body off the mat in order to get it. So,
Would that be the move like I was in point?
pulling or like you start moving towards the other side and then now base your left leg on the mat and bring your knee.
Arm in the
Yeah.
Now you gotta get that one
And
under
then now,
control.
now,
Now you have control.
yeah. Now you have control. Yeah. You want to use your legs. You kind of bump them up a little, and then you get your legs involved because it's much. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Some things that I saw that I think are actually good to talk about. When we're here, sometimes I feel like we feel a little stuck on one side, and I feel it's always good to know how to move to the other side. So like maybe they're starting to, like sort of getting flat to the mat. You're like, oh god, this hook. I'm starting to lose this hook, and it doesn't feel good. I think like bringing them to the other side is a viable way to regain control. So it's like, I have an underhook on this side, but I'm starting to lose him because he's slipping out this way. It's like, how do I bring him to the other side? One way is to definitely just like use like pulling motions, but also I think about, I want to get this bottom knee involved as quick as possible, which means like, I'm kind of bumping him up, and I'm shifting my weight and putting my knee here as a blocker, like as a wedge to start pushing him over this way. And then at the same time, I'm also thinking, right as he comes up, I can get this control arm here as well. And then now I'm shifting my my hips again to realign with his hips. So it's kind of like this motion where I'm like, kind of like doing these like little hip escapes. So like if you guys have done the hip escape, it's basically like this kind of readjustment of where your hip is in order to constantly be in alignment. So that's a good skill to have. We'll move on to this next game, which is, we'll start with a pretty deep one-arm rear naked choke. So when I think about doing this, it's I'm punching my elbow like almost down to where in alignment with the chest, and then my hand wraps around right here, and then I have my chin over the hand. It's like a one-armed rear naked choke. In order to finish, I'm keeping my hand stable, and then I'm basically pulling my elbow back. And like there's kind of like this rotational force where I'm pulling like this. So we'll start in this position. So it's a pretty compromised position for the defender. My goal is to finish, whether it's by a one-arm choke or taking my second hand and shooting into space between my neck and Bernard's head right here. When I shoot my hand here, I'll come in and grab my own bicep, and then my head will come in, and now it's a rear naked choke. So then I have my elbows come together, so you can see my elbows come together in the center, and then the elbows will move off to the right towards the choke. When I am ready to shoot this hand, I also don't want to make it this like huge arc. Like if I do this, I grab my own bicep, and then Bernard's just gonna grab this hand. Yeah, and I could possibly get armbar here. But also like he'll grab his hand, and then it's tough for me to bring it all the way over. So when I shoot it, I think about shooting it like very quickly. Like I'm thinking just about like opening and shooting it. You guys can just like practice this motion. I think about it as like I open some space and shoot my arm in, and then I figure out how to swing my fingers on my bicep. And then I close it with my head. So it's like this door that opens, I shoot, and I close. For the defender, before it gets to this position, you can think about like grabbing, like we'll start in this position with the defender already grabbing at like the forearm and the wrist. So you have to figure out like, as the attacker, I want to get rid of some of these grips as well, before I shoot my rear naked choke in. Any questions? So we'll start in that position, and then feel free to fall whichever way that you want, and then figure out how to get to the rear naked choke. And then defender will be looking to, I will say you don't even need to escape the back. If you ruin this, since I start here, if Bernard gets my hand and pulls it away, and I don't have anything, I'm no longer in the attack. Flip flop. Any questions? Alright, I'll just do. So when you talk about some things in this game, first off, some things I saw that were very good. So I saw some really good defense where like, this is a pretty late stage, but like, if I get here, I'm thinking about like, can I grab this hand in between my head or expose this hand somehow by pushing up, exposing it, grabbing the thumb, and now that I have the thumb at the end of the lever, it's much harder to choke. even if I expose this and I grab, let's say, like the wrist or even like the forearm, I see a lot of this sometimes too. Bernard can still walk this hand up. Like some people just like walk it up on the shoulder, and then they just choke me. Like this is actually not as effective. So like every time I have an ability to grab, I'm looking for that thumb. I get that thumb, and it's like almost like guaranteed that I'm going to be winning this putt. So think about like thumbs when you're really deep in that submission. One more thing, I think like the reason that rear naked choke is hard, it gets easy if you maintain alignment, but if you're not aligned, it gets pretty tough. So like in the case where I'm here and like I'm throwing this choke in, and people are like turning their head inward, right? Like to some degree, him turning his head is already beginning to misalign just a little bit. So it's kind of like I almost want to like follow him in a way where he turns and then maybe like I need to come up to sort of regain alignment, something really nice and deep. And then once I'm under the chin, I can go back to choking. I also saw an instance where it was like, I think it was, you can come up or you can like re-roll through. So like, maybe he's hiding his chin, so it's hard for me to, so I have to like maybe think about coming up. I don't think I have the right example here, but like rolling through this way, catching it like either here on top or catching it as we roll through again. So it's like, there are some ways to make it easier. Maybe this side is a better example. So maybe I'm going for this choke. He's turning in. Yeah, I'm just thinking about how to maintain alignment. So as he turns in, his back goes away from me. So I'm thinking, I don't know, honestly I feel like that actually helps me. Yeah. Turn it right. Yeah, I don't know. Still works for me. I'll see if I can see the example again when you guys are rolling. But basically, be really cognizant about like when we did our maintenance drill, like keeping the back, definitely want my shoulder line aligned. And that will make it easier to throw this choke in. Anytime the shoulder line starts getting misaligned, even like, not just necessarily the shoulder line, but also, let's say Bernard starts slipping down, like here, it becomes hard. The angle is off. So I need to find a way to like, either bump him up, so I'm back ear to ear. Now it's easy again to throw the choke. Or if he maybe starts slipping up, again, ankle is kind of off again. So I need to find some way maybe to use my feet to bring him down, back into alignment, so I can throw the choke. And it's kind of like those little misalignments that make choking from the back difficult. But if you understand that I want my shoulder lines aligned, I want my head next to his ear, if you get to that position, that maintenance position, then those chokes that you throw should be able to work. Yeah, we'll play this game again so you guys can see if you find it easier or harder to throw those chokes. Questions? Alright, 1, 2, 2. Feel free to grab new partners if you want a different one.
This one. That's the deeper. Not deeper. Go right there. Are you usually able to check with one or
Damn,
to go off the stage?
can't have to do it all the time. It's super annoying.
Okay. I'm not good with that these. I can find seats.
So some things I saw, I think Shota, I saw this from you actually. So Shota, I think you basically shot like this, and Bernard, I think you were like, or Fermi, you were defending this, and then Shota, you were here, and then you gave this up to go and try and strip his hand. I generally think if you've gotten here, it's almost like game over. Like, just keep it. Keep it, even if they have like some sort of like, they have some sort of grip on your rear naked. Just like I just start wiggling. I just wiggle. I'm not squeezing yet. I'm just wiggling until I get in this position. And then it's like a slow, like 30-second squeeze. Like I just go harder and harder and harder and harder. Because like when people go like from 0 to 100, it's like you're psychologically giving away like how much force you can exert all at once. But if I go like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like they don't know when it's gonna end. So it could be like 20 seconds of this. So they might actually psychologically tap before you've even reached 100%. But I think more so it's that like, yeah, like this is a very strong position. And then like once I get here, I'm really getting my head in the way. And then it's just small adjustments from here. You're able to get here most of the time. If they can't rotate on their lower body, I basically just take my time and I'm super patient. Another thing with rear nakeds is when I saw you guys defending it, so go ahead and get it. You guys did a good job getting this thumb. You guys get the thumb, but then like because the other person's like still trying to sort of choke you, you guys just sort of like stay here sometimes. And so like I like to think if I get the thumb, I'm pulling and then I'm immediately slipping my like chin down and then shoulders up. So even if they get it back, like there's not like all of this crap here in the way of like I don't want to hang out here with them under my chin if I can prevent it. So I'm kind of like, I just go like this and then this is infinitely harder to choke because now that it's like my chin is hidden, it's like a boxer, right? They want to like hit you in the chin here to knock you out, but if it's here, it's just protected by all of this mass, right? And then like, of course there will be people who think that everything below the eyeballs is basically the neck. So it's real. Like I've definitely gotten choked out where like I'm hiding, but they basically put an arm over my face and then they choke me. It's basically a mandible crush where
It's kind of a,
yeah, it's like I can still breathe and there's blood going to my brain, but it feels like my jaw is going to explode and I have to tap. So if someone gets that, like it's just like you're gonna have to like push it above your head and then just re-fight for your grips. But just know that people will try to choke you through the nose, through the mouth, through the jaw, and it works. It works. So make sure you have like your defenses where you get your chin down, your shoulders up, you're looking for the thumb, and then in the worst cases, you're fighting by pushing it up, misaligning that the choke, and also try to push it up to expose this thumb and then grab, bring it away. Last thing we'll do today is a quick game on body triangles. Actually, you can put me in body triangle. So this is a body triangle. It sucks because it's not hooks, so it's much harder to rotate in some ways. So like the lock here on top, it makes it really hard to rotate. And it's also a complete closure around your waist. So like, I can't really slip my back to the mat now because I can't just teleport through his knee. So I have to figure out a way how to get out of this. My recommendation is, the first one is easy, which is I can just use the fact that it's closure and figure out how to rotate within it. Obviously, that necessitates me getting my upper body free. So again, like, if I can strip the grips, my upper body is free. I can take this lower leg, which is opposite from the block, and just like start shifting it underneath me so I can turn in the body off and then come up and full start. So that's one way to do it. The other way, if you want to get out of the body triangle, is just turn it back into hooks. So it takes a little bit of leg dexterity, but basically I'm using my feet like my hands. So this time I take my top leg back and I'm pushing down the block, and I hand it off to the bottom. Once I've handed it off to the bottom, I could use my hand. I generally don't like to, but I hold it there, and then I use the top again, the inside of my thigh, to sort of just press down his leg until it turns back into hooks. The minute it's back into hooks, misalign. So once I misalign, it's much harder for him to do the body triangle. He might be able to do the opposite way, but it doesn't feel very strong, and I can get out that way. So again, I'll show that. You can go step by step, meaning like I can go top, bottom, top, turn back into hooks. Or if you're flexible enough, you can just straight up go for that heel. Just knock it down the hooks. And then misalign. So that's the last game we'll play today. We'll start in that body triangle. Overhook or underhook side is fine, and then if you're able to turn the body triangle into hooks, flip flop. If the other person can switch. So let's say I have a body triangle, and like let's say like I start turning it into hooks, and then somehow he like switches on me and then puts me back in the body triangle. You gotta keep going. Keep going until you get hooks for like 3 seconds. Ideally, just misalign your hips so they can't get anything else. Any questions? Alright, 2 and 2.
Too fast for you. Too much different. Like,
Yeah, misalign. Like I turn my belly button. It's kind of like it's like a sort of like 2 planes, and then like when you turn your belly button up, he's kind of still facing the other direction.
it is what it is.
If you can't do it, you can.
Really not that flexible.
Yeah, you can bring this as far up as you can. As far up you can, and put this guy kind of like on the hip. Yeah. Make sure to get that one. Oh, really? I think if you're well, no, you can bring this bottom one like as high as you can, and then like just stop. It's not like a real lunge, but yeah.
I'll get shot at different angles.
Yeah, yeah. You can also hand assist, like right. That works.
Yeah.
And then that's not the whole way. One to this side, one to this side. I think you can lock them. You definitely have the flexibility to show that. Yeah, that's a good one. Put your left knee over that. And now bring your right leg down. Yeah, try that. And now, nice. If he does, hold it. If he does that, now you can bring your left this left leg in under this foot.
Wait, if he does what?
If he traps, has like his lock foot with it in between your legs.
Oh, I can.
What you can do is do this. So you can bring it underneath, like backwards, and then now bring your left leg up. And now you've undone the hooks, and now you can grab him with his feet. Yeah. So here, let me show you that in a minute. Before we get into class. Get body triangle, and your lock is like in the middle here, like this. You can go for the thigh thing, but I can also think about doing this. And now it's kind of not a body triangle, it's just like very crisscrossy hooks, and then I could just. I won't say you should never hand assist. It's just like, it's not a good habit to tell newer people to hand assist, because usually what happens is they focus on their hands. They're like, oh, I'm just gonna use my hands, and then they get choked up here. But I will say hand assist is very helpful as long as I'm very aware that I have like protection up here. So it's like I'm protecting my neck. I have a good protection up here. Sure, I can quickly use a hand assist, and then I can go back upstairs to make sure I don't get choked. Last minute questions before we do a little bit of that. Questions?
For the when you're doing like the choke, like, is there any time where you should like switch your arms?
Yeah. It's a very good question. I usually switch it. There's not really when you should switch. It's basically like your first attack will most likely not work. So, switching it is a good idea as like a follow-up. So it's like I'm here, I'm looking for this choke, it's not working. Maybe I bring him up and I shoot my other arm across. And then maybe it doesn't work again, like maybe he grabs my thumb or something. And so like I'll continue the attack. Sometimes I'll even throw it across until something slips under his chin, and then I'm gonna go for that rear naked. The problem with throwing like constant chokes though is, remember when we were doing our retention drill, the underhook is the better control arm, right? So if you're throwing double overhooks, you can turn. So it's like, you have to, there's a trade-off, right? It's not an absolute solution. The good thing about throwing chokes is that you're threatening him, so he's thinking about like defending, right? But if your opponent is good, he's defending and also rotating his shoulders. So I can't just throw overhooks all day. If he starts rotating his shoulders, I have to think about getting control back, getting my other hooks, some sort of way to stop the rotation, and then I can start throwing again. On Wednesday and Friday, I can show some sneaky strategies that I've learned from other coaches, like how they position their hands, and a little bit of the grip fight as well. Because if you're just constantly throwing chokes, it's really obvious, right? But maybe it's like, we can go over this Wednesday, but like, one of my coaches likes to basically throw a choke but hide it under the armpit for a little bit. This doesn't feel as threatening, right? And then all of a sudden it's like they come in, they control this arm, and then just like, straight into the choke. So it's just like these little like distractions on like where the hand placement actually is. So your question about like when to switch, it's just like if you feel like you're not getting the choke and you want to shoot a follow-up, and you know, and you're like sure you can control him while doing so, or had enough of a threat that they're not going to try to escape. That's where it becomes fun, because you're like figuring out how you can juke them out and get the rear naked in. So we can go over grip fights, some unique grip fights Wednesday and Friday, and also other attacks from the back as well, because if you can't get the rear naked choke and they start slipping down, you can look for triangles and also go to the spider clip for arm bars. Alright, I'm going a little over, but train hard, stay consistent, class dismissed. And then we usually do high fives, just turn around and follow the line. And then open that until 7:30. Yeah, this is definitely, looks like you've had something. You've got time for it.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, how was it? I like it. Yeah, like a lot. I haven't been to like an actual class since I've been in college. And I've been working since like very nice stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah, you look like really natural on that. You should come through and train with us.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to. I get, is it only Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 6 a.m.?
6 a.m.
I'm probably gonna come back on Wednesday. Okay. Is it cool if I sign up then?
I think usually, well, you took your trial today, so I would say, when you come back. Otherwise, you'll have to pay like a proper fee. So yeah, I'll let Adam know that he's
Listen to each other for that.
we'll reach out. I'll solve it on the
I mean, 3 minute rounds.
3 minute rounds.
Let's do it.
You want 3 or 5?
Like 5. 3 minutes. We'll just keep like.
Oh,
Inside frames, inside frames. Nice. Catch that leg if you can.
When you come up shoulder, make sure you have that underhook. Sometimes you have the overhook, so like, come on now. So like, I think sometimes you came up like this.
Yeah.
And this way it's dangerous because if you don't, he can take my back from here. Go ahead.
There's that?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
If you do come up like that, you make sure you have like an overhook.
Okay.
But then this is still not the best position. Like if you wanted to come up, like make sure you get this underhook. So you can start making a way around the corner. And now it's yours, right? If he's like this, then he nested. I can just take it back. So when I have the underhook, go for the overhook. Yeah, overhook. Now I can't go for the back. But now I have the underhook, which is still good for me. Other things. And that's like in half guard when you're just like frame fighting and you get the underhook on the same side as the legs, and then you make your way around the corner.
I know, one of you guys wants to wrestle me. Come on, come on.
Who's staying? Are you staying? Okay. You want to do 3 minute rounds? 2 in, 1 out?
Show is just in his prime, right here.
Watch
5 minutes.
get feedback.
So the only thing I have on you is about 100 pounds. That's it. That's it.
Stand up. Guess we haven't covered closed guard yet. Hands on biceps and stand up. Hands on the inside of the biceps.
Yeah, there you go.
Pop up.
There you go.
Yeah, and then pop up.
Just put weight, yeah, put pressure on that.
And then go like this. Hand on knee, like this, across. And then this other hand go under the legs. Up here behind, even more behind. Yeah. Stand up.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Stand up.
We learned a lesson about that, right?
Alright, back escapes. Go for that thumb. Hide your neck when you can.
Is that right? That sounds fun.
Yeah, it's okay. Some larges there.
Actually, that was on back before.
Nice. Let's give up. Put your head down. Yeah, there you go. Sort of wiggle, make it.
Don't loosen up, never loosen up. Don't get tight faster than, when you get tighter, never loosen up again, because you give me space. Don't pulse. Think like a snake. Slowly, more powerful. You have a good grip, just cruising. Hip in.
If you hadn't pulsed at the beginning, you would have had it.
Yeah.
You let go.
Yeah, I think he was like grabbing a beer. So it was kind of like.
That doesn't matter. I'll try
That's
to
the
fix
fine.
it.
You can still like
It's hard to finish.
walk it up.
Yeah.
So you want both your elbows in the center.
Oh, do you want to start with that?
No.
Is that? Okay.
But I can still like.
Yeah, you can still like grab your own. Not like grab your own rash guard, but
Yeah.
you can still walk your fingers up. But that initial one that you have, like keep that, and then where you feel like it's not tight, just get tighter.
Okay. And then when I like fully have it, then right.
Then when you fully have it, then it's like a snake. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
We'll eventually get to close guard, but most of the time when you're in close, you want to fight the grips. Kind of like this, you get inside bicep control, and you stand up.
Okay.
And then once you stand up, like, if they're not flexible enough, they'll usually just let go. Like, stand up,
I just watched it.
untangle the leg like this.
Okay.
While I'm up, not on my knees. The risk is like if you reach back like this, people usually just pop up and triangle you. Because like you're reaching one arm back, and then you get one arm in with your head, it's just a triangle.
Okay.
But we'll eventually get to close guard.
Okay.
Soon. And it might actually be after back, because it's like a related position.
You know, Frank, I need to work on my triangles. Yeah, 30 right here. It's taking a minute.
Yeah, break his posture.
You got me on the first
Break
time.
his posture and get your right thigh over his shoulder. And turn off to your left other way. Yep. And now turn your right knee in the same direction as your left. Like, turn your right knee to the left.
I'm losing my.
Thank you.
Yeah, sweet shot that.
See ya.
So,
Sign up.
Bernard, when you have this triangle, like, you're like this.
Yeah.
I think you like it will necessitate letting go. So you get his posture, and what I meant is like you do this.
I have to let go.
Yeah, you let go and you press the shoulder away, and then you walk like this.
Help me figure you out.
Gotcha.
You're only gonna regret.
So you
Say
have
Okay.
other way. Other way. The other way.
So I was straight.
You have this. So bring his posture down. Now let go.
And that
Not
down.
completely. Not completely. So let go, and then try to get this knee. Use the inside of this knee to push this shoulder away.
But I want my foot under my knee, right, at some point.
Yes.
So from here, break the posture.
I think it might help to bring this hand a little closer across the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, see this right here?
Yeah.
Unlock. And use the inside of your right thigh to push right here. No, like don't lock. Here, come out. This is kind of a weird movement. But like, you were here, right? So I'm bringing this arm just across like this. I unlock,
You push it down.
It's like, yeah, whatever you call this. I'm doing this,
Yeah,
and then now,
you're right already.
yeah.
Hi Frank, sorry. I didn't end.
So here, yeah, bring it all across a little. Yeah.
So I see how you're flipping to your knee.
Yeah.
I'm moving my knee over. I'm not moving my
It's
foot.
this motion right here.
Yeah.
Is this like the weird motion? It's like like you're riding a bicycle, but your knees are pointing the same way.
This.
So when you unlock, make this knee like thigh right up against like this.
I come down the shoulder.
Yeah, using that for the side of the thigh. It's a very weird movement. But it really makes the adjustment.
I think it was not doing this. That's very useful. Thank you.
That's fun.
Yeah, I think it also was partly bringing the arm across.
Yeah.
Because otherwise the shoulder, the entire arm is just blocking your leg from coming through. That was first class, Fernie.
I like it. It was fun.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I'll let Adam know you came through and then you guys can talk about it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks for coming through, man.
No problem, no problem. It was fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully I see you guys on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm here. There's usually more people Wednesday and Friday. So.
Nice.
Where's other Frank?
You can come on Mondays. It's like,
Taxi duty.
kid duty or something.
Can't be screwing around all the time.
I know, right?
So I have a quote. Alan is the one who said everything below the eyes is pretty much there.
Oh, is it? Is it?
I wrote it down and said, that's fucked up.
See you, Bernie. Yeah, that's pretty funny.
We'll just slow motion squeeze people.
I know, like, Nicky Rod has said it before, but I'm pretty sure he's not the first one who has done it. Yeah.
I mean, it's miserable enough. The dominant position, why not?
Yeah.
Maybe the other guy considers as much as.
I don't know, even then, it's like, people are hard to finish, and that's why I think it came about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, by the time you get there, you're like, you can't get under the neck, yeah, under the chin, but I'll take this. It's not great.
I'll take the eyeballs.
All nose and mouth, baby. Just
When do you come through? I feel like sometimes, I don't know, you come like what, 3 times a week?
I try. I like 2.5 times a week whenever. I'll miss, a Monday, Wednesday, or Friday for whatever reason.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to probably make, I took tuna last time, I'll probably make the tiger's milk type of ceviche.
Is that with coconut milk in it?
No, there's not milk. It apparently it's like you take a couple of the raw pieces and you sort of blend it together with like onions and lime juice and ginger and garlic, and it creates like this white milky milk. And then you take that and marinate the rest of the ceviche.
I mean, ginger and garlic that's a good mix.
Yeah, ginger, garlic, a little bit of celery, a little bit of coriander.
That sounds like a good plan. Maybe I'll try that. Man, I've tried so many kinds of fish.
Yeah.
I need to just stay creative, otherwise, a lot of fish to eat.
I don't know, just like a good, just a good pan sear with some
Yeah.
salt and pepper is pretty good. The collar, man, that was.
A collar, you cook it however you want to cook it, and then you just like sear it at the end, either in the broiler or on a pan, so the crispy bits. That's incredible.
Oh man, so good.
All right, thanks for class, Frank.
All right, thanks.
See you Wednesday.